Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Gramoglia, the president and CEO here at Woodland Pond, and this is my slightly late weekly update for a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. Before I get started today, I want to make an official welcome to Phil Cavallo, who is our new Director of Dining Services. He had sort of a soft welcome the week before last when he was at another CCRC getting his feet wet with Sodexo things and CCRC things. And then last week he started here on campus. I believe Phil attended today's dining committee meeting as a real entree to start to meet with residents, and he will absolutely 100% be ready to hit the ground running. As you all know, Phil joined us from Vassar College and has a deep history in the restaurant and hospitality industry. And of course, working with all those discriminating students with those discriminating palates and variety of palates at Vassar College has certainly geared us up for an excellent opportunity for Phil here. And he will be working extremely closely with our new Assistant Director of Dining Services, which is our former executive chef, Jared Cutts. And I know that the team is very much looking forward to bringing you the services that you've been asking for and elevating the dining program. So welcome to Phil. And again, congratulations to Jared. Going into some calendar things, if you have seen your monthly calendars for independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing, you are probably a little bit overwhelmed, to be honest. The newsletters are rich with calendar activities, interest groups, meetings, committees, fitness classes. And I guess on one hand, I'll apologize for that. But on the other hand, we're really working hard to make sure that our programming is staying exactly where the residents want to see that. Of course, any recommendations, changes, requests that you have absolutely can be added. Personally, I'm surprised that we don't have a podcast group, sort of like a book group. There's amazing material out there, and I bet you one of these days we'll see that. But at any rate, this week we have a lot of our committee meetings, dining committee, physical plant, some of the others, design and decor. We've got some special trips, lots of cards and other things. This is just a general reminder to all of the existing residents and new residents on any part of this campus. Every event, every activity, every amenity that we offer is available to every resident, whether you're on the committee or not, or whether you are the best participator in a sit and strength class. You are welcome and invited to attend if you can safely do so, even if it just means sitting around the sidelines. We want to see you. We want to see that integration. I strongly encourage you, if you live in any area of the campus, if you live in independent living, get the assisted living activities calendar. If you live in assisted living, get the independent living activities calendar, because you can do all of these things and you're welcome to. One community, one resident population. And we really want to see that. Of course, the other things that you'll see in the September newsletters in particular are just a vast list of things that we're doing to celebrate our 15-year anniversary this month throughout the existing campus, and some opportunities to stretch our wings a little bit outside too. And I hope that everyone is really sort of planning and anticipating for the fun events that we have scheduled for September. Specific to that, we do still invite residents that were pioneers, so that came early in those first years. And of course, we have a whole list of them here in the newsletter. We know exactly who you are, and we know that you've got to have memories. We're still looking for another 2 or 3 that are interested in sitting on our pioneer panel and sharing some stories, regaling us with stories of those first days. And if we haven't heard from you and you haven't signed up yet, we very well may make a phone call to you for a special personal invitation. We are also looking for residents for the musical event that we're going to have, which is the Woodland Pond Musical Showcase. That will be residents and staff members. So if you play an instrument or you're a singer, please do consider signing up for that. And for those that are sharing really incredible memorabilia from those early days or from construction, etc., please do bring those items to concierge. Several people have brought items to Gretchen. She has asked that you please bring them to concierge and that they are labeled. This helps us to keep it a little bit more organized. And I personally will be adding in my hard hat from the original days. It's somewhat decorative, but I did wear it and it did protect me way back in the day. So that will be in the display. The Director of Activities from the Health Center, Sue Close, has asked me to share that Woodland Pond has partnered with the SPCA, which I'm thinking is the USPCA, Ulster County. And so in addition to making cat toys as one of their activities for this month, we will be doing a pet food drive. So if you have an extra can or two of cat food or can swing a bag of dog food to donate from September 2nd to the 20th, you can drop those items off at concierge and our health center staff will be giving those to the SPCA. This week on Friday will be Dave Roberts' very first of many weekly addresses at 12:15 and re-aired at 4 and 8, just like mine are, related to project updates. So you will see these on your calendars and you'll be able to get them the same way that you're getting this address right now. And at each of those roughly 15-minute updates, Dave will be giving you the news of the week related to the project. So this Friday, he may tell you that he has had a couple of meetings with focus groups this week. I know that there's one for fitness this afternoon, and I think performing arts might be tomorrow or Thursday. And maybe he'll let you know what was discussed, and maybe he'll go through some different sketches or latest renderings or concept drawings. Because in addition to the management Q&As and the images that are available now on Connected Living, for all of you to keep current on what's going on with the projects, we really wanted a way for you to get weekly information, and this seems like the best way. I know that these address videos get around 200 views in addition to what's watched live streaming. So I think this should appeal to a wide variety of you, and we will make these available on our YouTube channel as well. Let's see. The next thing I wanted to just chat about quickly, a couple of things related to what has come into the suggestion box, is in the last 2 weeks, I've actually had 2 different requests to increase the monthly service. I'm sorry, the monthly declining balance allotment in your monthly service fee from $300, which I take as a great endorsement of our dining program. I just wanted to remind everyone that the $300 is just the amount that's prepaid through your monthly service fee. You're able to go above the $300 anytime that you want to. So if you routinely wanted to, spend $400, for example, on the dining program, the first $300 would come from that prepaid allotment from your monthly service fee or your declining balance. The $100 extra to get from $300 to $400 would just appear on your next bill as a charge up. So it doesn't get charged any differently in terms of taxes or anything like that, but it just, rather than it being prepaid through your monthly service fee, it would just show as a charge up on your next bill. So you're more than welcome to dine as much as you'd like and enjoy as much as you'd like. It's just that the first $300 is already covered per person in your monthly service fee. So just to keep that in mind. We are working very closely with Sodexo to understand what alternative flavor profiles we have for the coffee. We are making some inroads there, and I expect that middle of the week, towards the end of the week this week, Phil will be bringing me a proposal on a couple of alternatives to the existing Pike Place option that we're using for Starbucks. There's loads and loads of different types of coffee and flavors that we can bring in. And of course, we're listening. And we are also continuing to tweak that complimentary coffee program. I was having a little bit of a chuckle because I do get continual, please bring back the 24-hour coffee, blah, blah. I think it's very reasonable to understand that not remember that the 24-hour coffee situation was sort of a COVID something that we did during COVID. And previous to that, coffee was available from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I actually pulled up the handbook this morning, and it states that coffee will be there from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we're doing much better than that by having it available from 7 until 7 or so. But we are looking at ways to extend it maybe till about 9, but just continue to understand that that is a work in process. The last thing I wanted to talk about today, and this is in line with my goal to do a little bit of Woodland Pond reminding or educating on each weekly address, is just to remind everyone about the protocols that are supposed to be followed when the fire alarm goes off. Last week, one of the days, midday, the fire alarm system went off throughout campus. And what is supposed to happen when that's the case is everyone is supposed to shelter in place. You should, if you're in the hallways, you should return to your apartment or cottage. You should otherwise find a place to shelter in place. But whatever you do, you should take a seat and try to stay out of the way, because we don't necessarily know what's happening right at that moment. The way that it works is the fire alarm goes off, and in multiple locations on campus, we have something called an alarm panel. We have them at concierge, we have them at reception, we have several located in different places on campus, so that our staff can go immediately to the panel, and the panel tells us where the smoke head that set the alarm off is alarming. So we often know exactly where we need to go, but we don't necessarily know what the situation is. We don't know if there's a smoke condition or someone accidentally interrupted a fire indication beam, which is sort of like a laser, but not exactly. But you can somehow put a ladder up too high, and it, creates a disconnection of that invisible beam that sets off the smoke fire alarm. We don't necessarily know what's going on. And in those first few moments, the most important thing is that residents shelter in place. This last time, we saw people kind of all over the place. And it's always a good idea and a reminder that as soon as you hear that fire alarm go off, the best thing to do is go right back to your home, unless you are, seeing physical signs of smoke, fire, etc. Because the fewer people we have in the hallways, the fewer people we have in the corridors, lobbies, etc., the better. If you are in the dining room, or if you are in a meeting or an activity, we want you to just stay seated and await instructions. We do close concierge, and it worked very well this time. We have a very big placard that goes up that says concierge is closed. Basically we're dealing with an emergency. And that's because we need concierge to be able to focus on doing incident command or incident addressing. And so they can't be answering the phone. They will not answer the phone if you call and say what's happening. They have to be dealing with our management staff and with first responders. So we do close concierge, and that worked really well this time. The other thing I would mention is we do rely heavily on our mass notification system to communicate with you what's happening to the best that we know, and then when it's all clear. When the fire alarm goes off, you should receive from us a phone call to your landline, a phone call to your cell phone, a text to your cell phone, and or an email if you've provided us with an email address. Each of those things may come simultaneously, and it may seem like overkill, but the reason that we do that is because you may, for example, be off campus, or you might be in a location that isn't where your landline is. So we want you to get a notification on your cell phone of what's going on. Some of you only or primarily communicate via email. It's a way of keeping you in the loop. We give you as much information as we have at that moment. And then once the situation either is unfolding and we have to update you again, we will do the same thing again. And then once it's all clear, we will send a final notice of all clear. Every resident should enroll in this in one way or another, whether it be, again, any of those different forms of communication. And if you have a loved one that is interested or concerned in what's going on campus, we also strongly encourage that those contact information be provided to us as well. So your children, if they want to know what's going on, we can add them in as a loved one contact information, and then they will get a notification. So the big takeaways on that are if you hear the fire alarm go off, you should shelter in place, return to your apartment or cottage if it's a safe route and you don't see an obstruction, await our instructions. And if anything else and you can't get to someplace else, just sit down and stay put. And the primary reason for that is because this way, when the fire folks and the first responders come, they can easily navigate through different places to get to you. I think that's all I have for today. Please do keep your suggestions coming and the rumor mills coming to me. I love them, and it really, I read them. Same thing as the happy or not comments, and it does really help us to make your day better. I hope you all have a great week and enjoy this really, really fabulous weather. Bye.